And welcome back to Stanny Boy Reviews. I'm your host, Stanley. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out my channel and to talk about your favorite horror films and mine. It's almost Thanksgiving. You guys, November just flew right by. This year is going by so quickly. Where the fuck did 2022 go? On one hand, I'm pretty thankful because the last couple of months have kind of sucked. Let's be real. By the time I post this video, Thanksgiving will only be a couple of days away. So I will take this moment to wish everybody a very happy Turkey Day. I'm going to take the next week off. I'm going to Oregon for the holiday, so I will not be posting this next Monday. That being said, I had a hard time deciding on what I wanted to review today. I just wanted to skip the rest of this November stuff and just start reviewing Christmas movies. But it just wouldn't feel right. I decided to go with a little movie from Argentina called Terrified. So go grab your blankets, prepare to pull them all the way up to your face and cover it because, y'all, this movie is scary. Have a seat, I'm already seated, and let's just talk about Terrified. Terrified was directed by a gentleman named Damien Rugna in 2017 over in Argentina. And if you haven't seen it, you probably should. I'm just gonna throw that out there right now. It was filmed on location in Buenos Aires. I'm probably going to butcher everything I say. This is a foreign film. Everybody that starred in it is Argentinian. I don't know how to pronounce anything that is even in English. So I suck, I'm sorry. There have been rumors since 2018 that a remake by Guillermo del Toro was going to be in the works. I haven't been able to find anything about it. And once the pandemic started, the director said that he was working on a sequel, but again, nothing has really been talked about since then. The film was pretty well received by critics. It has a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty great for a horror film. And if you want to watch this, you can find it on Shudder. It's streaming there. If you don't have Shudder, this is a free plug. I'm not getting paid by Shudder. Go download it. They have a great selection of movies. They have all the classics. They have some originals. They have some good documentaries. They have a lot of good stuff streaming on that service. Just saying. Free plug, Shudder. I'm available for sponsorship. All that being said, let's just get into it. Terrified is about a small town in Argentina where a young woman is murdered in the middle of the night by an unseen assailant in her bathroom in a scene that rivals Tina's death in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. It's gruesome and it's frightening. This is a very scary scene, and this is how the movie begins. Her lover, Juan, is taken to a psychiatric institution where he is basically a suspect in the murder. And there is a trio of doctors who are paranormal investigators who are asking him if he is aware of any other weird ongoings that have happened in his neighborhood. Yes, actually, he is. They go like this. Juan had a neighbor named Walter who was dealing with a ghost under his bed that hovered over him in the middle of the night and just watched him sleep. There was also a woman across the street named Alicia, a single mom. Her son ran down in the road and just so happened to come back to life a few days after being buried for some milk and cookies. No explanation. I can't say anything else about these stories, except that they all coincide somehow with Juan and the neighborhood, and that they're all really scary, and they're what make the movie what it is, and they're what make it so much fun, and also terrifying. This movie is really scary. While we have seen so many movies like this before, I personally have not seen a movie done quite like this. Maybe it's because it's in Spanish. I don't know. Maybe it's because I had to read and pay attention. It's one of those. I'm a haunted house guy. Sure, I like a good slasher. I like gore. I'm eclectic when it comes to horror movies. I'll watch anything. But haunted house movies really do me in. I love the Insidious movies. I love the Conjuring movies. Poltergeists. I like a lot of the Amityville horror movies. Amityville Dollhouse. I'm a weirdo. This movie is a mashup of all of those movies, and it knows it. As where those movies focus on one house, this movie is the entire neighborhood. And I kind of like how it flips the script in that regard. It's very wise. Rugna obviously knows the genre and has a big respect for it, meaning he was well versed with all of the movies that he's referencing, but doesn't make a carbon copy. He does his own thing. It's nice to see a fresh take on a genre, because when I thought it was going to be one thing, it ended up doing something a little bit differently. So when you see it get a little bit tropey, it doesn't do what you think it was going to do. That's what made it a lot of fun for me.
A estos seres les gusta la sangre.
And the performances are pretty stellar. The fine-ass man who played Funes, I think he is credited as Maxi Gioni. He really sold me as the cop just trying to make a difference and trying to help, and I loved watching him deteriorate as the minutes passed on. He's just so good looking. Like, I don't know if it's just me and my attraction to men who speak Spanish. Jesus Christ, I just could not take my eyes off of him. And Norberto Gonzalo gave his best Anthony Hopkins impersonation and also provided a really good sense of humor when things got really dark. And this movie gets dark and goes to some really dreadful places. And like I said, when you think you know what's coming, the script flips itself. The visuals that you're given due to that are truly haunting. There are a lot of things you see that you're just taken aback by, and you're like, whoa. You think you've seen it before, but the way that it's presented to you in this film is just something else entirely, at least for me. And might I add, not only did Rugna, I like saying his last name, I don't even know if that's how you say it, but I like rolling the R, Rugna. Not only did Damien Rugna direct and write this movie, he also did the music. He pulled a Carpenter. Hugely impactful, sharp notes, and a lot of low rumbles that he relies on. The sound design in general is just foolproof, and there are a lot of jump scares. I was on the edge of my seat a big portion of the time, and I think it was because of the music and the use of sound. Rugna is a jack of all trades. He's done a few Spanish shorts and only a few couple feature-length films, and he's one of those directors that I really have to keep my eyes out for, because I think that he has a really, really good future ahead of him, and I hope he does more horror. I think this movie is just chef's kiss. It's so good. All I can really say is if you want something scary and interesting and creepy and reminiscent of old haunted house movies like The Changeling and Poltergeist and other movies I've already mentioned, that is just a good all-around scary movie to watch with the lights off and a bowl of popcorn and maybe a slight buzz, I think Terrified is probably a good bet.
Están asustados.
¿Y tiene con qué?
And hello, it also has many references to Pet Sematary. You'll know what I'm talking about when you watch it. Holy that was the scariest part of the movie to me. Those scenes that totally riffed Pet Sematary, I wasn't even mad at. Completely torn right out of a Stephen King book and done so well. It's a movie that doesn't deliver a lot of answers once it wraps up, but it's a movie that doesn't need to. Sometimes you just don't need answers. Sometimes that is the answer. Nothing. You know what? We die, and that might be all there is. We don't have to go there. You just don't have to get it. That's the scary part. You'll jump out of your seat, you'll be scared, that's Terrified for you. So on Stanny Stab-O-Meter, 5 stabs, easy. I'm not just feeling ultra giving lately. I've just been blessed. It's another one of those streaks where every movie I watch is just good. So the question remains, have you seen Terrified? Do you plan to watch Terrified? Is it on your list? It should be. You should watch it. If you have seen it, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. Guys, don't forget, I am on Instagram, I am on Twitter, and I am on TikTok. Follow me. And don't forget to subscribe. And once again, you guys, happy Thanksgiving. I hope everybody eats a lot and is safe. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me this year. December is gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, remember, I will not be here this next week, but I'll be back the first week of December. Yes, Olivia, you can come up now. She's desperate to say hello. All right, guys, bye.